Blood Wedding is a classic play by Garcia Lorca, a great Spanish poet and playwright. It's one of his famous rural tragedies. He wrote 3 plays that are set sort of in rural Spain, and Blood Wedding is this kind of elemental, almost Greek story of this wedding that goes horribly wrong.
Blood Wedding is traditionally set in Spain, but I think the fact that it has these elemental forces, or these things that feel quite human and quite universal, really appealed to me. So our decision to translate that into more Canadian setting, something that felt more like home, really spoke to that. It's not necessarily just a thing that happens in Spain. It's a thing that happens in a lot of communities, and in a lot of communities that are trying to protect what they hold most dear in a world that's changing and in a world that's in flux. And so sometimes that manifests itself in repressing the individual's needs and desires.
You know, there's some beautiful versions of it, but there's nothing that felt like it was ideal for Canadian actors' voices and Canadian ears. It needed a new translation, and so that's where I came in, and working from Lorca's text, I just tried to find an idiom that respected Lorca's poetry and his austerity, but that made sense with the music of our language.
It's a heightened text, it's a very poetic text, and so one way for me, actually the only way that it made sense to me to do this, was that that music be a large part, the large component of this project. It's coming out of a North American folk tradition. I think it's really exciting to be in conversation with that this is another way of looking at that text, of looking at the poetry.
You know, for people who love theater, if you happen to see a production recently, or that beautiful production was in Toronto a while ago, and you come to see this, it'll be clear how rich a play this is, that it can support really different interpretations, and yet the power of the play still comes through.
The challenge of trying to root it in us, and also being bold in our imagination and not being, constrained by real life. That it has these 2 things, the both symbolic and also the very realistic, and to try and sort of find this nebulous place in between, with this amazing group of artists in the room who are being incredibly brave and bold and beautiful and sexy and horrifying. It's an immense honor to be able to work on this play.